Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on where you are joining us from. We are so happy to be here for today's live webinar regarding the 100% scholarship opportunity in cybersecurity for Black American students. I am very happy to be here today. Quick intro for me. My name is Monisha Bush. I like to go by Mo. I am the U.S. Missions Programs and Partnerships Coordinator for SANS, and I help drive forward all of our mission programs in the Western Hemisphere. I coordinate with our partners, both internal and external, building new partnerships and relationships. It is my gracious responsibility to help our partners and program entities connect the dots among our SANS Academy operations, our marketing, products, and career placement teams. I also work as the Media Partnerships Coordinator with our SANS HBCU Plus committee, where it is our mission to create a bridge to diversify cybersecurity with innovative Black talent from historically Black colleges, universities, PBIs, and MSIs. So you're probably wondering, are we discussing today? Are you looking to begin a exciting career in cyber? Do you have the drive and passion to make a difference in the world of cybersecurity? Are you a Black American college student belonging to a predominantly Black institution or a minority serving institution? Well, if that's you, then you are in the right space. We have recently reopened up our applications to our annual SANS HBCU Plus Cyber Academy, and we want to invite current juniors, seniors, graduate students, and alumni to apply to this 100% free scholarship program. Now, I will get into the details of this program. However, I want to go ahead and give, give our audience pretty much a breakdown of what we are going to discuss during this live stream. We will first go through an application process segment where I will kind of explain what to expect when you're applying, the eligibility requirements, application window, and just an overview of the student roadmap. We will then get into our Life of a SANS Academy mentor segment with Donny Greene, where I will ask him a few questions on what it's like being a SANS mentor. And then we will follow up with Life of a SANS Academy student segment, where we do have two of our students, our previous alumni from our SANS HBCU Academy, kind of give an overview of their background, some of the certificates that they earned, and then just kind of look into a overview of what it was like for them. We will then take any questions that our live audience may have at the time, and then I will close up. So that is pretty much a brief description of what we will cover for the day. So I will just jump right on in to the application process. So what to expect when you're applying for this academy? Well, one major thing is you need time and you need to have that passion to be able to dedicate into your studies. I would probably say you need around 20 hours per week study time per course. And we have a lot of support where we offer you the mentorship, and then you also have the cohort that you'll be a part of that kind of will collectively help you when you're reaching those struggle points where it's like, hey, this is a lot. And so we're definitely providing the support for you guys to be able to get through it, as long as you have that drive and that passion to want to attain those GIAC certifications. A little bit about the CTE assessment. The SANS Cyber Talent Enhanced CTE assessment. It is a web-based feature. It has 50 questions. 25 of them are skills-based, and 25 of them are aptitude based. And you have 120 minutes to complete the assessment, and then we will receive an online report from our end, and you will also receive notification on your results from your end as well. So we will have our alumni speak in detail if we have any more questions about the CTE assessment and how it was for them to complete that. Next, I want to go into some of the eligibility requirements. So currently, we are asking for Black American scholars who are enrolled as juniors, seniors, or graduate students that are a part of an HBCU, a PBI, or an MSI. Now, you may be asking, what is a PBI? PBI is a predominantly Black institution, and an MSI is a minority serving institution. And if you have detailed questions regarding if your school belongs to or is associated as a PBI or MSI, we're more than happy to follow up to give you any special details that you may need for that. We do ask that you are not currently employed in cybersecurity or have not been employed within the last year. Again, we ask that you are passionate about information security, cybersecurity, and you actually want to pursue a career in the field. You must be a U.S. citizen or permanent legal resident or have the work authorization currently residing in the United States of America. And that's it. Those are our eligibility requirements that we ask for you to meet to be able to apply for this program. Now, once you feel, hey, I have the passion, this is something that I want to do, we do ask that once you meet those eligibility requirements, once you take the CTE assessment, that you may be asked to provide additional supporting documents. You may be asked to provide transcripts. We may ask that you give us a brief 2 to 3 minute video and let us know kind of why you want to be a part of this academy, amongst other documents that we may ask for. The application window. Right now, the application deadline has been extended into April. The new deadline is April 14th of this year. So please don't hesitate. Right now, it's only March 9th, but I will give you some additional information as far as the URL on where you can go to apply. And that is pretty much the overview of our student roadmap. You have your application. Once you've applied, then you are assessed. Once you're completed with the CTE assessment, and you are accepted, you will go through the training and certification period. And then from there, you will go through our career placement process. So I hope that kind of helped out with giving you an overview of the application process and the student roadmap. At this time, I am going to jump into our next segment, which is Life of a SANS Academy Mentor segment. I would like to introduce the very gracious Donny Greene with us today. How are you, Donny?
I'm doing great, Mo. How are you?
Doing well. Fascinating. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. I wanted to just give our audience and potential applicants just a little bit of an understanding of what Life of a SANS Academy Mentor was about. So I'm going to ask you just a few questions. Feel free to add any additional information that you think may be helpful to our potential applicants. All right.
Yes.
Awesome. I just want to start with, can you give us a little bit of your technical background?
Yes. I have 23 and a half years experience in the military and the U.S. Air Force. Started off as a civil engineer and then moved over to computing career field. Unfortunately, I guess, or maybe fortunately, depends on how you look at it. The computer system I was working on was based on an airframe, E3 aircraft. So I was working on the computer and display system there. But I long to work with regular PCs, mainframes, things of that nature. Had a couple of friends that moved on from the aircraft to working in the normal communications unit, working with that, and they talked about how great it was. And then I got my first mentor with, I guess, cyber. It wasn't cyber back then, back in the 90s, but he taught me about PCs. We built computers, tore them down, did different things, and he sent me my first virus, and that kind of lit the bug for me to want to do cybersecurity. What again wasn't cybersecurity at the time, but I was interested in hacking and kind of defending and knowing more about the roles. Fast forward uh, over a decade for me to get into an opportunity to be able to advance and make it there. My last role in the Air Force was in the Washington D.C. area, and I got a couple of certifications, industry certifications, and my last role I was excuse me, mitigations manager for the Department of Defense boundary. So looking at different things, threats, and things of that nature, and enforcing, putting out sometimes policy, sometimes changes to the infrastructure. So that was pretty cool, and got selected for the very first SANS Academy. But it was the Vet Success Academy in 2015. Went through there. Prior to graduating from the academy, I was in my transition from the military, and I got hired as a government contractor. Ended up going to the same location I was before. I was just on a different floor, different organization, but used the same equipment and same tools. And my knowledge went through the roof. I went from the person asking all the questions to someone that people could come to and ask complex questions. Hey, could you look at the packet captures for me? Could you explain what's going on? So definitely, it was a life changing experience for me. From there, was doing cyber analyst work. Wanted to get into pen testing. Got a part time job pen testing, and worked that. Uh, it took me a while to get a full time role pen testing, based on just kind of not having enough experience. Then I was able to get a full time role pen testing, and again, it was in the same location with the different organization, different contracting company, but I was going to be attacking the equipment and people that I was defending, and my understanding of the enterprise as well as the procedures and things like that played a role heavily in me being able to succeed. From there, I was hired as a federal government employee and then became lead of the team. And we went through the certification process for becoming a DoD certified red team. So did that for a couple of years, and then I resigned from my position. But like these days, definitely um, staying abreast of new cyber threats, and been mentoring, and I really love that.
Wow, 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 wow. What a very vast background you have technically. And, it kind of seems like you already kind of led into like why you chose to become a mentor. We definitely hold you up to a very high, high, high standard here. And we love you here at SANS. But can you share with our audience like why you chose to become a mentor for SANS?
It's two reasons. First reason is I've always had mentors throughout my military career. I've always had mentors. Every job I had, every location I was assigned, I always had mentors. And for me, a mentor can be something that's kind of official and it. And other times I've had people mentor me from afar. I just watched what they did and kind of if they had the qualities I wanted to emulate, I would just follow their lead, and surprise some folks. Like years later, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, thank you for being a mentor." And it's like I never was, and I was like, "Yeah, you were. You just didn't know it." And secondly, when I went through the academy, there's I think 10 of us, and I mean we're all thrown together with this program, and we had a mentor, and it was great. He was able to answer questions. Our primary job was to go through the program, achieve certifications, but just like everyone that's in the program, what's it like to work in the cyber? Hey, what are the job prospects like? Hey, which job should I look for? All these types of questions we had. Also, the mentor he brought in other personnel from different backgrounds to talk with us. So that was really exciting, and I definitely wanted to be able to show my appreciation, and then come back and be a mentor for other groups.
And we're sure appreciative. I mean, just giving back what you were able to, receive from Vet Success is a wonderful story. So I appreciate you for sharing a bit of your background here. I want to kind of dive into maybe some of the specifics or particulars of what is covered in some of your mentoring calls. Like, if I was a potential applicant and I asked you directly what the expected study time would be for this curriculum, how would you answer that?
I would start it off with time management. Definitely budgeting your time. The projected amount of time should be roughly 150 to 180 hours. However, it's dependent upon your experience and ability to make it through the material. One one thing that I'm confident of is those that make it into the program. You were selected because you're a great candidate for it. So it's about putting in the time, humbling yourself, and and making sure you ask for help, ask for assistance. I'm always available. You have access to the subject matter experts for any given course. Plus, you have your cohort members, and oftentimes there's other people that have similar questions or even the same questions. So don't be afraid to speak up. There's Slack channels, and definitely don't hold your questions until the weekly meeting. We go through progress reports through the meeting during the meetings. Additionally, with some of the courses being lab focused or heavy labs, we go through lab demonstrations. If there's questions about the content, we have an in-depth conversation on that. And lastly, just question and answers. Sometimes it's course related. The calls early on, they try to keep it under an hour early on, and after a few weeks, it starts going down to around 45 minutes to 30 minutes, and then depending on who's on the call and everyone's personality, will stay on for another hour and a half, just talking and geeking out about different technology and things that are going on in the news. So, but as far as time, definitely putting in time, finding times to study during the week. There's lots of ways for you to receive the content. There's the on-demand app that you can use on your mobile device. You can use it through the web browser. There's MP3 files that you can listen to during your commute, or play it through your stereo, or put it on your headphones when you're out doing some work or running errands. There's Additionally, there's soft copies of the books, so you don't have to lug all your books around. So you have a PDF file of the books. So there's multiple ways for you to get the content. Break it up whenever you can. Some students have success waking up earlier in the day and getting it knocked out early in the morning. That way, if it's a long day at work, or people have families and different obligations, at least they were able to get the studying out earlier in the session.
I love that. I love that. And you definitely covered like what to expect during your weekly calls. And I think the idea of being like community, having community, being involved and having that cohort kind of be there to support you, so that when you're having times when you're just trying to wonder how you're going to get through it, being able to just jump on that call and, be engaged with different individuals that are going through the same thing, I think is just so helpful. So I appreciate you for sharing that information. Can you provide our audience with just like a brief overview of what GIAC certifications we're offering with this academy?
For this academy, there's three certifications. That's the GFAC, and that's the SEC 275 course, which is Foundations, Computers, Technology, and Security. And within that course, there's the basic foundations of computing. There be some assembly, introduction to scripting languages, computers, cloud, servers, a lot of the basics that were previously not covered in depth. So it's a very, very nice course. Next course after you earn your certification would be SEC 401, and that's the GSEC course, and that's Security Essentials, Network, Endpoint, and Cloud. So covers a lot of topics. The certification exam for that course, I believe it's 4 hours now. I believe it's like 4 hours, but this is the first certification that we'll have that you'll be going through that will have a cyber live component. Right now, there's 95 multiple choice questions with 11 cyber live questions. There'll be a VM that pops up, and you'll go through and do the practical portion of the exam and answer the questions that are provided. And last course and certification, SEC 504, and that's GCIH, and that's hacker tools, techniques, and incident handling. And it covers down on those topics, and it goes deep. It goes through, explains the different techniques and things that the hackers do, as well as providing the defensive measures and prevention techniques and prevention and detection techniques to pick up on that. And this one is Cyber Live as well, with the same number of questions, 95 multiple choice with 11 Cyber Live questions.
Awesome. Thank you. We have a lot of questions in our live audience, guys, and we are definitely going to approach and answer your questions at the end of our segment. So please feel free to share out this live. If you are on YouTube, share it out on YouTube. If you're on LinkedIn, share it out on LinkedIn. We want as many individuals out there to know about this opportunity. Before I wrap up with you, Donnie, what would be your words of advice for potential and future applicants to this academy?
Um, Time management, talking things over with your family, your loved ones, and let them know, hey, I have an amazing opportunity. I'm going to need some time to myself to be able to make it through these studies. Utilize the resources that are provided on the SANS portal. There, when you go to the page for the scholarships, it has different study resources. Go through those resources before you take your assessment, so that you're kind of familiar with the information that will be asked. There may be some things you didn't know, things you may be able to pick up on, and then definitely apply. Go through the assessment. As you mentioned, there'll be potentially additional information. So have your transcripts. Be ready to have your transcripts, resumes, things of that nature. Start collecting those things. And
Awesome.
reach out, ask questions. I'm available. I can be found. Look me up on LinkedIn. Other people that have graduated from the academy, various academies, are more than happy to answer your questions.
Well, we sure do appreciate you for joining us today, Donnie. I may bring you back in during the Q&A segment, but I just want to thank you again for your time and giving us just an overview of life of a SANS Academy mentor. Of course, I'm pretty sure that you'll hear from me, but for our live audience out there, listen to this man's word of advice. Reach out to him on LinkedIn. Of course, make sure that you apply, and he is more than happy to answer any additional questions outside of this live webinar. Thank you so much, Donnie. I'm now going to introduce our next two guests who are previous students and alumni of our HBCU SANS Plus Academy. We have Mr. Frederick Eley and Mr. Jamal Good. We're going to have both of them joining us at this time. How are you doing today, fellas?
All is well, thank you. Thank you.
I'm well. How are you doing?
I am doing excellent. God is good. Thank you so much for joining us today. I wanted to have you guys join me today to kind of just describe life of a SANS Academy student post certification. So I'm going to go back and forth between the two of you asking the same question, if you don't mind. And then if you wanted to add anything else additional to share with our live audience, we would love that. I'm going to start off with just kind of getting an overview of your background, your technical background. Whoever wants to go first, we'll go with you first, Jamal.
All right. Yes, my background is in network infrastructure. Um, Not really security, but my hobby. I've always had a thirst for it and enjoyed all the security toys and well, I won't say toys, but the security projects that I engage in. So it was always, making me want more in a professional sense. Um, so just going over from network, the infrastructure, and going from IT, and just pursuing security.
Awesome. And what about you, Frederick?
So I've been given a nickname of Pa Bell. I've worked with a bunch of the baby bells, AT&T, Bell South, Verizon. And in that time, as we've seen the internet grow and expand, I've had my hands on a lot of infrastructure, a lot of um, equipment, a lot of applications when they first come out. So throughout my time doing all of this stuff with the internet, it was never part of my job function, but it's just what I did. And then kind of looked around one day and said, "Hey, I'm doing all of this stuff that everybody else is getting top dollar for." Um, so, and expanding on what my foundation has been, uh, started to study computer science to get a better understanding of applications, which turned me right back around to where I was working in the first place. That working with networks, working with switches, and working with routers, but looking at them in a whole different way, looking at them in a whole different perspective.
Mhm.
So that is kind of where I got into it. And again, like I said, I started looking at other things and um, just saw that, hey, I am a network person. I am somebody that likes to be hands on.
Great. Well, thank you both for giving us just a brief overview of your background. It's much appreciated. And each of you were a part of our last cohort. Can you just kind of give us an overview of the certificates, the GIAC certs that you both earned? We'll start with you, Jamal.
Yes, we started with the GFAC 275, as Donnie was talking about. We have a require first to GFAC and then our GSEC 401. Those were a very interesting courses. The GFAC is a foundational base cert, based around the foundations, getting you prepped and ready for um, for the next for GSEC. But it was very informative, great course, and it was very excellent opportunity to start with your two mandate, and then you get to select your elective. But yes, the GFAC and the GSEC are the mandatory. And I chose on my third or excuse me, for my third course, which was my elective, I chose G Cloud. I'm going through that right now, and I will be finishing the end of this month.
Nice, nice. What about you, Frederick?
So I as well started with the 275 course, it's the foundations, but don't let that name fool you. It it's foundations, but the scope of what's covered is very thorough. Um, I like the course in the fact that it's a ramp up. So it's all online, which allows those that are coming from different fields, different backgrounds to kind of smoothly get into uh, these concepts.
Hmm.
But as I said, in the content, it covered things that it took me 2 or 3 years to even get to those concepts, and I was getting to those concepts in week 3 and 4 in that course. Next, I took the SEC 401, security fundamentals. That course, it again is it's a broad scope course, and probably most students uh, come through that course. Most SANS students come through that course to give a base to go into whatever direction you want to go into. If you want to go into incident response, if you want to go into pen testing, if you want to go into cloud, all of those topics are covered in that course as well. So, and for my elective, I chose SEC 503, which is network monitoring and threat detection. So I got to get my feet wet in SEC 401 and in the GFACT that said, hey, this is where I really shine. Again, how I said I worked in telecommunications. So it gave me those first two courses gave me better insight into what was the best fit for me. And that led me into network monitoring.
Amazing. It's amazing how it sounds like the foundational training kind of prepped you for the security essentials. And then once you got through 401, you kind of had a better idea of like which way you wanted to go. So I appreciate you guys both for kind of giving an overview of those certificates earned. What would you say kept you both motivated? We'll start with you this time, Frederick. What kept you motivated?
Number one, this was a chance of a lifetime. So, you're going to throw me the ball. I'm gonna catch it and I'm gonna run with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna fumble it. So throughout throughout the cohort, definitely the weekly meetings, um, not just talking about the coursework, not just talking about the subject matters, but interacting with one another as I say family. I call everybody in the cohort fam, and that's what it has been like. That yeah, we encourage one another, we we joke with one another, we get mad with one another, but at the end of the day, we all come back around and we help each other and we encourage each other to strive for the best that we can be, not just individually, but we take pride in being together as a group and representing SANS and representing this cohort, representing HBCUs. So all those things have been motivating factors for me.
Wow. Very, very, very positive perspective and answer. And I just love the way, again, how you spoke to the importance of being in a very tight knit group. What about you, Jamal? What kept you motivated?
Well, I had dedicated. I said, I'm going to be going through a whole bunch of stuff this year. I'm going to upgrade some skill sets, put my head down and studying. So when I still had a lot on my plate, but you have to see it through, have to get it done. Um, and going to what to excuse me, to what Frederick said, we have a great group. Um, I even told them, like Frederick said, we family. I told them, y'all stuck with us. It's a great group of people. Donnie, I will for always be bragging on Donnie. He's a great guy, motivates. I think he knows how to deal with, people on an individual basis, if you will. Um, just staying up, um, looking forward to the calls, motivating each other. Again, like Frederick was saying, me, I'm quick to stay on somebody. I'm gonna gas you up. Hey, you can do this. You got this, man. Let's go over something with Frederick. Even if we had our weekly calls, but Frederick would set something up. We have a few Discord servers that we just all try to be supportive. And my thing I always say to people, my family, my peers, my network, and my village, not only kids need a village. I think everybody needs a village. The more supported you are, the more empowered you feel. And when you feel empowered, that's, you obviously you do the best you can, or you're able to, I
Man,
think.
you kind of gave me some chills there because I mean, I say the same thing all the time, how it's not just children who need a community. And I think you guys kind of both spoke to the next question of the importance of networking and the importance of having a community, the importance of having your family support you. So I am very much glad to hear, not only as someone on the inside who kind of helps to kind of strategically create awareness around this academy, but to actually hear you guys just share how important that is to you guys as well. So I appreciate that. My last question is, we want to know what's next for you. What are your career plans? What are your career goals? Have you um, have you gotten a job in cyber yet? Can you share with our audience what's next for you? We'll start with you, Jamal.
I am currently dealing with Kubernetes right now. I do dabble in security. However, as far as putting my GIAC, I am looking into my consulting and I'm getting all that straight right now. So I'm definitely going forward with it. And I'm even looking at my, of course, more skilling up, more education with the SANS Cloud curriculum. It's a very nice curriculum.
Awesome. What about you, Frederick?
So at this point, I have I guess you want to call it a part time that I'm working with other students at Stans as a teaching assistant. So I'm able to take the courses that I just finished and help others with their progression through these courses. I am also looking, or still looking for a a threat hunting or network forensics position, but as many people in cyber, as Jamal just said, consulting is is a process that I'm learning now as well. So as part of this network, as part of this community, there's so many people that have so much information, and and initially in my mind, I kind of had it like, hey, I'm gonna finish this, I'm gonna find a job, I'll do a 9 to 5. But there's so many other options that I'm seeing now that are available, and um, we'll see what the future holds.
Well, I appreciate that. And just so our audience knows, since the start of our HBCU academies, our graduates have gone on to land roles in uh, in the field with some of the top cybersecurity companies and agencies. Just wanted to briefly go over some of the top cyber roles or cyber related roles. Uh, in the field of cyber, one of them being a information security analyst. They have an average salary of about 90K. We have information security specialists, also average salary around 90, 95K. Digital forensic examiner around 92K. IT auditor around 80 to 90K. A penetration tester is somewhere above 95K. Security engineers can reach up to 120K. Security architects can exceed up to 190K. And then you can kind of get into some cryptography and other areas where you can maintain a salary up or exceeding around 100 to 115K. So just wanted to give you guys some ideas out there of some of the different roles within cyber. We are most definitely very, very much appreciative to our guests today. I want to be able to use the last remaining 20 minutes, if we can have all of our guests joining us back, to just go over some of you guys' questions here in the live chat. Again, please feel free to forward this out, share this out, send this out to all of your peers out there, anyone that you feel who has the passion about entering cybersecurity. You don't already have to have the full on knowledge. We are definitely open to those who are new in cyber, those who may want to pivot. We have had past students who were in a total different role, who pivoted into cyber and now work for government agencies, and we're very, very proud of them. So I want to first express one of the main questions that we see on here is, how do I apply? We have it going down on the banner exactly where you can go, but you can go to SANS, www.sans.org/HBCU, and you should be able to see where it says apply here. You just click the application button. On that page, you will be able to see the actual application process. It gives you a description of the SANS HBCU plus Cyber Academy. It also will give you a description of the courses that we went over today. And then if you have any other questions beyond that, then I will most definitely give you an email address to reach out to us after that. So that's how you apply. I do see here that a few of our live audience members are asking if this academy extends to international students. At this time, this is just an academy for Black American college students that are in the United States. But we do have other programs that extend beyond the United States and do reach our international students, one of them being our Diversity Academy. And if you want more information about other SANS academies, I would just go to www.sans.org/academies, and you will find a list of all of our academies there. So if this academy, if you're not eligible for this one, there should be a vast amount of different other ones that you may be eligible for. Let's see, we have Bashir who's asking, I'm a graduate of computer science. How can this benefit me? I'm interested to join your team and I'm Black from Nigeria. Again, Bashir, do not let this deter you from applying for other academies. If you're from Nigeria, we do have other academies where we do accept international candidates. Thank you so much for your question. Another question about living outside of the US. We have covered that. I'm going to let one of our guests kind of answer your question, Todd. Todd has asked, advice for a teenager. My son is 18 and graduates from high school in May, and we are currently full-time travelers, but he plans on staying back to the United States after graduation. Any advice for a teenager that you guys would give? I'll let any one of you take it.
I need to figure out what you want to do. I say just figure out what you want to do first. If you're certain this is what you want to do, just start digging. You're old enough to be networking, going to these events, these conferences. Make sure your LinkedIn is in order. I would take advantage of the social apps, Meetup, just anywhere where you can be networking, especially around your security events, conferences, because you meet great people in this community, and you'll get some big opportunities. And I would say look into some Udemy courses. If you are still not certain, if you okay, I know I want to do and be in the security field, but what exactly do I want to do? Perhaps watch some videos on YouTube, or go through some of them Udemy courses. Udemy, and also on SANS is a great resource to follow on LinkedIn. Like I say, I'm always going to be saying, hey, LinkedIn. Please watch LinkedIn. Take care of your LinkedIn. There's a lot of great resources on LinkedIn.
Wonderful advice. Thank you so much for that, Jamal. I just want to take this time to thank my guests for coming, each and every one of you. Thank you, Donny. Thank you, Frederick. Thank you, Jamal. It has been an experience chatting with you fellas today. And I just see nothing but great things in you guys' future. We definitely appreciate you for taking the time out of your day to come and create this awareness around our HBCU Plus Academy. If you guys have any specific questions regarding our program or the application process, please don't hesitate to email hbcu@sans.org. Again, that is hbcu.sans.org. And either myself or one of my very gracious committee members will reply back to you for any questions that you have. Again, just want to send the last minute reminder that our application deadline for Our HBCU Plus Academy is April 14th. So please, please spread the word to all of those that you feel may be a passionate person who has the drive and looks forward to having a successful career in cyber. That's all I have for you guys today for this episode of 100% scholarship opportunities in cyber for Black college students. Again, my name is Monisha Bush. I like to go by Mo. You can see my handle here on the screen. Reach out to me at any time, or you can email me at hbcu@sans.org. Take care, everyone.